Prasad, can we start now? No disturbance.
Huh?
Disturbance, sir.
Connect.
From mobile.
Hmm?
Log in from mobile.
Okay, I'll try.
Log out from here. We are going live.
Hello.
Hello. Now is it fine?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay.
If we are ready to go, we are okay to go live.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Prasad, I hope you can see the chat here in from YouTube. Last time it did not come.
What was the problem exactly?
Prasad, the questions asked on YouTube should get reflected here. Last time it was not.
Okay. Sir, I'll manage that. As of now, we can start with the webinar.
Yeah, we can start. Okay.
Okay.
You can continue.
Are we live?
Yes, sir. You can go on.
Okay, good evening, friends. Welcome all. We have from the ANMI team, Rajiv Gupta, who's on the board of directors of ANMI, myself, Nirav, Gandhi, and we have Kiran from the NSE inspection team to answer your queries regarding quarterly settlement, which is there on 7th of October. And going forward, it will be on the first Friday of the quarter. Unfortunately, this time the second Saturday is there thereafter, so everyone will have to manage it on the Friday itself. And as you all have seen the circulars, the clearing corporation will be releasing the money if your request is going to come by 7 p.m. based on your extra money which is lying with the CC, which the exchanges have now allowed 50% of the margin to be retained. Balance you need to call back. So we will not be taking any questions on the FD part, breaking of FD that has been decided. ANMI did a lot of efforts to convince SEBI, but we could not, succeed in that because, as I said, it is an FD which is created not coming out of any regulations, but it's your choice to create an FD out of client's request or from your pool account. So FDs will have to be broken, and to be very to be careful next time, the FD should be made on which will expire on the, or rather which will mature on the 89th day, which should expire either on Friday or Thursday. Ideally on Thursday, so there's no question of breaking the FD and calling it back from the clearing corporation. So jo ban gaya wo ban gaya, aage se we have to make it so that it matures on the 89th day. So we'll be starting with anyone having a questions. The first question, someone has, HDFC has sent a calendar of withdrawals which they will allow on the Monday to Friday and second and fourth Saturday. So within HDFC up to 10 p.m. there is no limit, but on a second and fourth Saturday, you can only transfer out 1 crore cumulatively for RTGS, and for NEFT you can only transfer 2 lakhs cumulatively. On a regular day, there is a limit of 200 crores up to 7 p.m. and thereafter 2 lakhs post 7 p.m. But on a second and fourth Saturday, It's 1 crore cumulatively for RTGS and 2 lakhs
regarding
cumulatively for
regarding this trading limits and the values, SEBI in consultation with SEBI, we have written to all the clearing banks as well as the non-clearing banks who are approved banks with the clearing corporations. We have written to them and asked them to give their 100% cooperation with respect to transfer of funds on 7th and 8th of October.
That's fine. SEBI also told us that they'll be writing for waiving of the premature penalties on the FDs which people will have to break. But there will be issues if the banks do not cooperate.
Yes, we have written to those banks.
Will have HDFC and ICICI as their majority of them have it. So those two banks you need to specifically work on in consultation with the seniors there. This clause has to be exempted for this time because if anything has to go on Saturday, it will not go. The file may be uploaded, but the funds may not go on Saturday. It will go on Monday only then. Which I believe SEBI was fine as far as...
If you're uploading file to the bank, if you're uploading the file to the bank, that will be considered as settlement. The funds, there should be sufficient balance in the trading member bank account. Then that will be considered as a settlement of the client.
Okay.
Even if there is a delay from the bank and for settling, actually transferring the funds from the client bank account.
So the only problem is if the funds don't go to the client account, then when do they come back? Suppose the bank is going to execute on Monday, then in order to have a smooth trading, we need to have the funds back also on Monday in order to have the upfront margin, and that might create an impediment in the trading on Monday. So the only request is that we need to ensure that the banks do make the funds transfer on Friday and Saturday.
The funds which are to be transferred. Hello?
That's right.
The funds which are to be transferred on Friday, if you are uploading an instruction to the bank on Friday and the balances in your bank account are sufficient, then that will be constituted as settlement of the client funds. However, if there is any delay from the bank for actual settlement, then that will not be considered as a non-compliance. It will be considered.
Basically,
there should be sufficient balances in the client bank account.
Basically, we should be able to demonstrate that we uploaded the file to the bank.
Yes.
Money may go on Monday, Saturday, Tuesday. Depending on how the bank takes the records, But file in the system should go on Friday.
Yeah, you should authenticate the transfer.
There is one question, Sai, if I pay out at 8 o'clock and take the money back at 9, will it be considered a settlement or not?
And that is not what is envisaged. In the sense, if the settlement has to be done, it has to be done to the client the same day. Giving one client funds and taking back the money from the client and giving back to the other client, this is not the envisaging of financial settlements of the client.
So the client money cannot be taken back on same day. It has to be taken on next day.
Same day. In the sense, you please educate your clients that in the sense, if you are transferring funds, transfer it on the next day rather than on the same day.
No, suppose you pay out the entire funds to all the clients, and after that some funds come in. How do we stop those funds from coming in?
It is not that you are supposed to stop the payouts of the client.
No.
Educate your clients.
We have done the payout. All the funds have also been transferred. Everything is done. And after that, say after 1 hour, the funds come back from in order to create a limit for the next trading day. How will that be handled?
No, in the sense, end of the day, it is like in the sense we should not have a practice of every client will not be transferring the same funds on a same day.
No. Maybe 1 or 2 will be.
Yeah, if the instances of clients coming back, if the clients transferring back the amount on the same day, it should not be more than 1% of the total population. If it is more than that, then please trading member has to take care of that the funds are to be settled. If it is not less than 1% or up to 1%, then there should not be any problem. It can be constituted.
Okay.
Okay. One question is there saying there is a non-cash collateral of 150. Sorry, total collateral is of 300, out of which 200 and 250 is non-cash, and sorry, 200 is non-cash and 100 is cash. And
Okay.
margin requirement is 100.
Okay.
So now 100 into 2.25 is 225 you have to retain.
Right.
Right. So now you have on cash of
out of 100, which is the margin obligation, trading member can retain 50 as the cash part and the balance as the non-cash.
So it's, yeah. So
in
that
example,
one member has given, okay, 200 is non-cash and 100 is cash. So 225.
Right.
So 25. So he has to retain 75, right?
100 rupees, 100 का margin लग रहा है, 100 का margin लग रहा है, तो उसका 50%, which is 50, you can hold as a cash.
Yes.
And 225% of this 100 rupee margin is 225. In this, 50 has already been considered as an cash margin. The balance बचता है 175. 175, if you have securities under pledge, you consider securities under pledge. In your example, you have 200. You can consider 200 from your securities margin, and the balance amount of 50 has to be paid back to the client. If in the same example, instead of 200, if you had only 100 as your non-cash collateral, the balance of 75, you can retain from the cash balances of 50.
Okay. So next question is,
Nirav, in a nutshell, the way I understand, first you take the total margin that is required. Out of that, 50% straight away can be retained. The next 175 you have to retain from the non-cash. If non-cash is more than 175, then balance cash, whatever is left, you have to refund back. In case the balance non-cash is less than 175, then you can retain more cash reaching up to that 175. Is that right, sir?
I believe that's what Sai meant.
Yeah. So I'm just putting it in the another way so that members can understand more.
Out of 225, first the 50% of margin in the form of cash has to be removed. Balance, if it is settled through non-cash, it's fine. Otherwise, you have to dip into the cash and retain that cash. So next question, Sai, is it compulsory in every first week of quarter to pay out of, not first week, I would say, okay, first week of quarter to pay out of clients, either they are not in criteria of 30-90 day cycle.
Sorry, there was some miscommunication.
The question
Can you please repeat?
Is it compulsory in every first week of quarter to pay out of clients, either they are not in criteria of 30-90 day cycle? Sorry, I cannot understand this, but this is the way it has been.
It is now going forward. It will not be 30-90. It will be monthly and quarterly. Any client who is giving their preference as monthly, they has to be settled on first Friday of the month. If the client is having a preference of quarterly, it has to be settled on first Friday of the quarter.
Okay.
The 30-90 days criteria will not be available going forward.
The client is registered on 10th October 22. Should he be settled on first Friday of January 23? I believe there's an exemption of clients registered in the first quarter, right?
No, he is not. He is not supposed to be. He is not supposed to be settled on 7th of January. He will be settled on a subsequent quarter in the month of April.
The account got settled once during last 1 month. Then also we have to settle the account in the first week of every
quarter. If they have settled in September or October, they have to settle in on 7th of October.
The market will close at 11:30 p.m. in MG 13.5 also come late night. So how do we settle the client funds?
With respect to commodity clients, they can consider their 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock snapshot, and they can run their retention, can transfer the funds, hold the 225% of margins, and transfer the funds to the client bank accounts. And if there is any variance, let's say you have blocked 100 rupees for a particular client where margin is utilized, and out of 100 rupees you have blocked 225 rupees as an 225%, and at the end of the day that 100 came down to 0. The variance of that additional amount which you have withhold for that particular client who is trading in commodities, it has to be paid back on next banking working day. Only that variance amount you can do that, but end of the day every settlement has to happen on Friday.
The new accounts opened between 1st July to 30th September are exempted or not from settlement on 7th October.
Those are exempted, which the clarification has already been provided in FAQs,
Okay,
that
right.
any client who is created during the period of July to October 6th are exempted from settlement on 7th of October.
Can we process and upload the files on bank platform with Friday balances on the next day, Saturday? Further, we would want the allocation window to be kept open on Saturday for uploading downward allocation.
The CC have category specified that upload and download allocations will be only on Friday, not on Saturday.
Upload of file has to happen on the bank platform on Friday itself, right? It cannot be done on next day.
Yes.
That's what the contention of NSE is. Okay. 7th of October, how does one calculate EPI benefit for calculating the amount that can be retained by the broker? As EPI deadline is 9 PM.
So end of the margins will be calculated based on the EOD margin files. The margin obligations based on the last span file, and you can upload the details.
No, people will take some snapshot and store it so that they can show it in the inspection team. This is the snapshot which I took at 4, and based on that I did a working.
नहीं, snapshot 4 की भी जरूरत नहीं है. End of the margin का file तो आ जाता है. EPI which is happening, you will know that in the sense any pay-in obligation which you are doing as per the securities, those will be having 0 margin obligation for those clients. Those can be excluded and pay-in obligation can be processed.
Margin files come only after 9. MG13 has never come before 9.
No, CCs have categorically specified that on October 7th and the first Friday of every quarter, they are making it a point that the SEBI have given the proper directive to give it on timely basis. Hopefully it will be coming on time. If it is not coming on time, definitely, if it is not coming on time, definitely you can have the snapshot figures and can process.
But sir, in MG13 file, that will come only at 11 o'clock, because once the EPI deadline at 9 PM is over, only after that the MG13 in the cash segment can get generated.
Right.
And if we take the snapshot at 6 PM of MG13, provisional MG13, it will always have a higher mark. And suppose the broker, member retains a higher amount, based on that 6 PM MG13, we will always have some balance to pay off on next day. How to handle?
That is what I am saying, sir. In the sense, if you are transferring, when you are holding the amount, when you say that there is a variance of next amount which is coming in, instead of 225%, you can have 200%. Instead of holding variance amount, you can have it the percentage of holding which you are having, rather than 225%, you can hold it at 200% if the values which you see envisage are higher. In the sense, it's not mandatory that in the sense the limit of holding the amount is given up to 225%, but it's not mandatory that you can hold. It's a good practice. Under the corporate governance, you can reduce the percentages also.
There is no way CC can give files before 9. Until the EPI happens.
The CCs have categorically been informed. CCs have categorically been informed to give the files on a timely basis. So hopefully, this is whatever. In the sense, this is the first run of one-day settlement. Once we have this particular process, then any teething issues or any issues which we are facing during this particular settlement day, we can take it up with the next settlement day.
Fine, that is fine. But unless the early payment deadline 9 p.m., CC cannot under any circumstances give the margin file. There's no way it can come.
No, that can be constituted, sir. In the sense, if there is an early payment which is happening for a particular client, you as a trading member will be having the details of all clients who are having these early payment obligations, and you can construct based on the risk management software which you are having. If CC is not giving you the details on timely basis,
Want to give on time, they won't be able to, because the deadline itself is 9 p.m. So we'll have to have a variance. So I believe what the consensus among the broking fraternity is, we will take a snapshot from NMAS, and whatever margin is there at that point of time, they will work on that and store it to be shown later. Right. I understand this is the first time we are happening, so it's
yes,
not that,
yes.
Yeah, so people will, it's a trial and error for everyone, but
right.
But the spirit of the regulation, it should be done with
Yes,
whatever data you have. So next question is, no trade in last 30 days, nil holding.
There is no change in the regulation of inactive clients. Any client who is not trading for last 30 days, he has to be settled then and there for the next 3 days. And
I have not finished. I will not finish by 1 second. How to settle for funds paid on 7th October morning in one scenario, and on evening 7th October in second scenario, and on 8th October in third scenario, and in each scenario, few customers paying through net banking and few through aggregator where funds will be received on T+1 till T+5 day. That's the question. I don't have any funds, no trade. The customer transfer the funds on 7th morning or on the 7th evening.
Okay.
So how do you tackle that? The funds are not with me.
The client is inactive and you have received funds only on 7th of October.
Client is inactive since last 30 days. 7th morning, someone has transferred. 7th evening, someone has transferred through payment gateway. So how do you handle this?
No, these are the cases where these are remote possibility cases where client is telling you on the last settlement date, where the client has not traded.
Do you have to settle or not to settle?
If you are not settling those clients, then that will not be a problem.
Okay, so you need not settle. Okay. So new accounts opened
practice should be like, in the sense, if any client who is giving transferring funds on that particular day settled, but if client is not active and he has not traded for the last 30 days, then as we categorically specify that will be considered from the date of receipt of funds. In the sense, you can hold those client funds in your account.
Opened in July-September quarter and transacted in derivative segment regularly. Do we have to settle? So anyway, it's clear last quarter you need not settle. Okay, clients doing only intraday trading in derivative and no open position. So do we need to settle?
Yes.
Okay. So one more question is on the same example of 200 non-cash and 100 cash, and the end of day margin is 100, but peak margin is 200. So taking that same example, how you have to settle?
No, this is even if it is peak margin, whatever funds you are paying back to the client, those are peak margin. Then
No,
only
225% has to be of 100 or 200.
100.
If he pays out, what if he violates peak margin then?
Even if there is, you have the margins during the day. Reporting peak margins, you are paying back the funds to the client. In today's current, so before on settlement of one, you are having client, and if you are paying back the client 100 rupees, then also you're not in your peak margins. There is no change.
As far as you can demonstrate you had peak margin till 330, it is fine, right?
Sorry?
As far as you can demonstrate you had peak margin till 330, and end of day
only on EOD margins.
And end of day margin become 300 from 300. So sorry, from 200 become 100. So if you had during the day that much peak margin, it is fine, right?
Yes. To be seen.
So there have been concerns if you pay out and after that if clients want to take position after 7 p.m. in commodities, you will not be able to take because that is there's no margin available of the client with you. You have paid out everything.
In
Business, that's a business loss to a member for the commodity segment. I think there's some connectivity issue at your end. Your line is breaking constantly.
That said something on it is.
Line is breaking constantly. I think there's some connectivity issue. The question was, commodity clients will lose out because once you pay out, you cannot trade till 12 o'clock in the night because there's no margin. Everything is gone out of the system.
Right. In the sense, if client is an active trading client, you can hold up to 225% of whatever the margins are. Let's say if client is having an 300 rupees and his margins are only 100. Then up to 225 you can hold and balance 75 has to be paid back to the client. And if client wants to trade up to 225, he can trade. But any client who has not traded during the day and you are making a payout, it has to be done, and the respect to risk management policy has to be coming to picture.
Members have to deposit client funds to exchange, and for settlement, member have to settle client on Friday by considering end of day money obligation.
Right.
So in that case, after billing, we have to settle client after billing. So how it is possible to do on Friday? I'm not clear, sorry.
No, release of funds can be done based on EOD margin obligations. Once you request CCs, based on the availability of funds, they will be releasing the funds, whatever amount is free at the CC level. EOD release request hai, so usme aap maximum, whatever maximum you wanted to release based on the free balances, they will be releasing the funds based on yearly obligations.
So, Sai, there has been a constant discussion why exchange chose Friday when Saturday was available to settle on the first Saturday. So any thought process behind that? When all the data was ready with everyone, so they could have settled on Saturday. So what was the issue of choosing Friday only?
No, this was directly coming from the SEBI. We have taken up with SEBI also, as member associations were also there at the SEBI discussions. So this was discussed and decided at the SEBI level itself that it has to be only Friday, not on Saturday. Deliberations were definitely made, but the final decision which was taken at the SEBI level, regulator level, is it has to be done on one day and it has to be Friday.
So, okay, if an old client gives money to trading member on the first Friday of the month, the quarter, whatever it be, or during the first week of the month, quarter, even then trading member has to return the money even on same day.
If he is an active trading client, he has to be paid back.
Let me see if the other questions are there.
He has to be paid back. Hello.
Finish the first set of questions. You can send the next set of questions on the chat. So, what concerns I am getting, Sai, from everyone is that they are not sure whether the bank will cooperate. That shouldn't be a medium, to penalize members just because banks are not cooperating. Because all are working on some treasury rule where they park the interbank money, money market, where they do not keep that much provision for release. So it should not be even though member wants to diligently do and the bank does not cooperate.
This has been taken up. This has been taken up with all approved and clearing banks at the NSE level and the other exchanges also. It has been communicated. It has been decided that there will be a pressure onto the banking system, and they are very aware of the pressure onto their banking systems.
Yeah, one question is if a client has cash 100 and non-cash 200, which is okay 300, and end of day margin is 50, but peak margin on 710 is 250. then can TM consider peak margin for retaining or one will have to consider only? So you have answered that. So 50 into 2.25, whatever you want to 25 rupees you can retain out of that 100, and balance 25 whatever will come from the non-cash, and 75 rupees will have to go back.
Yes.
Because you had 300 during the day, you can demonstrate that you had 250, and that is good enough.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
Banks have expressed, concern that they won't be able to break the FD at 7 p.m. If the CC is even willing to release the FD at 7, they won't be able to break the FD. So it should not be, and because of that, we are unable to release the funds.
Trading member should plan their working capital accordingly, right?
No, that's why they have planned accordingly, and that is why they have given the money to the bank in form of FD when this regulation was not there. It is not of working capital management.
As we are going for a one-day settlement, this is they should make sure that on settlement funds to meet their settlement obligation.
But when the circular came, people are already made FDs before that. So it's not that they do not want to do, but if the clearing corporation, even if I or you would go to the bank at 7, no one would entertain us with a FD break, that way. So they said, okay, as far as funds are required, you can send a file, we will debit your account and credit to the customers. But the FD department is something different, which will take care on its own. Maybe my experience is that even in normal days, it doesn't happen on same day. So there's no question it can happen on Friday evening.
They have to break the FD. If they are unable to make it on the same day, they have to break the FD prior and have to keep the funds with the banks for meeting the settlement obligations on Friday.
They can't break the FD prior because you do not know what is the client going to do on Thursday or Friday. He has to wait till the end of the day to understand the whole, otherwise he'll have face allocation penalty, margin penalty, whatever. If he does not have
so the working capital has to be maintained by the trading member to meet the obligations. In the sense, clearing corporations have categorically specified that for online FDRs, they are ready to transfer the FDRs on the same day as per the request given during the day within a maximum of 1 hour timelines, and banks will be able to give the funds back.
See, it's a trial match practice is there, so let's see how.
Yes, we can see in the sense what exactly is happening at the CC level, what exactly is happening at the bank level. Everyone has provided their confirmation that we will be able to do that. So in the sense, we can see if something is going wrong, then we can have our own changes, enhancements we can do in the next round of settlement.
Yeah,
whether it is monthly or
it may succeed, it may fail partially, but at least we'll know where it is failing, so we can fine tune it in the next process.
Yes.
But, underlying principle of the regulation, the intent of the regulation should be adhered to.
There's a lot of disturbance.
Raghavendra, any more questions?
There's a lot of disturbance going on. Hello.
Okay, there is one more question. Do we need to unpledge the shares given by client as collateral, or only unpledge will suffice for settlement?
You mean to say that without paying funds, you are unpledging securities?
Yeah. So that's fine.
No, that
right?
is not envisaged.
So then you can retain the cash,
that is not. No, we are not saying so. In the sense, any client who has given pledge securities and funds, you can have only 50% of the funds as the cash part, and the balance has to be paid back to the client.
That's fine. If he unpledges everything, then whatever collateral he has is cash only.
If client is unpledging and holding the funds back, then that is a different scenario. But trading members should not have a practice of unpledging the securities and holding the funds back. without client consent.
Pledges in favor of broker, I believe, he has a right to unpledge it whenever he wants. Because he'll take the client in confidence, that is for sure.
It should not be the practice of not settling the client funds. It should not be the practice. It's not the proper governance. That is not NECS, right?
Prasad, there are more questions, please. It's not coming up, reflecting here on the chat. FD has been provided by such clients. Yes, the FD is taken out from client's own bank and pledged to you. You did not, unpledge it because that's not with the CC and that's not with you also. It's just pledged to you. It is with the client. It is from the client bank account.
FDs are FD and BG. FD and BG created out of client bank account directly, no need of settlement. But funds taken from client and created FD from the client funds by the trading member, it has to be settled.
The exchanges should give assurances to the members for not penalizing them in case of failure at the end of CC to provide the files on time on 7th October.
So definitely there will be a consideration onto that.
Yeah. So let me tell you, in a meeting of all the associations with SEBI has said that, they will not be, going by one and penalizing. They want to see how this functions smoothens out and whether members are able to do it on the same day. So I believe if you are intending to settle, there should not be an issue in case of all these penalties. Right now you are doing allocation files. So based on that allocation files, only you take that as a base and do it. So upload the file of payout on Friday and it gets cleared on Friday and Saturday. Can we accept funds from clients on Saturday itself? I believe Sai, you have answered that on same day you may have an issue, but next day they can give it back, right? So, Rajiv, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I think Sai Kiran has lost connectivity.
He's lost his connectivity.
So this question, Sai had said earlier, if the all money is coming back on the same day, then they have a concern because same money is going to be recycled to pay out other clients. If it is coming on next day, what I believe and gather, there should not be an issue because you have paid everything out on Friday.
Absolutely.
Monday you need the money back, so you can take it on Saturday, provided your client, the banks and all are working to accept that money. Okay, I need to log in again. Debit balance client and zero balance client, we need to send retention statement. Yes, we need to send. What you are doing right now, you to continue to do that only. Except the only relaxation is if 50% of the margin in cash can be retained if it is lying with the clearing corporation. There's nothing else changes. Everything remains as it is, I believe.
I think Sai is offline now.
Yeah, I need to wait for him. HDFC Bank's physical request for NEFT and RTGS only till 3 p.m. Not use net banking for payout to clients. I believe they have spoken to the bank that they need to work. They have to work late on that day, and I think HDFC Bank is geared up for this. Even we have HDFC Bank, and they said will be available on that day, including ICICI Bank. As far as
to my mind, we should guide the members a little bit how to go about the job so that they can do the payout by 7 p.m. on Friday itself.
His question is, Rajiv, the question is they are not doing net banking, they are giving physical request for us.
So then their first job they need to do tomorrow morning is approach their bank and take the net banking. Otherwise, physically it will be impossible for them to do it.
Yes.
If you are still in that era of giving physical instructions for doing NEFT, it's going to be a very, very tough life for you. So the only way to do it is probably take that NEFT online and upload the file. That's the only way I feel.
Yeah, Sai has joined back. You can switch off your video. It will, bandwidth would be proper.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so there was a question. Aman, can you go mute? Mr. Aman, can you go mute? Sai, there was a question. HDFC Bank accepts physical request for NEFT.
There's a resound.
One sec. Aman, Mr. Aman, can you go mute, please? Prasad, can you tell Mr. Aman to be mute? There's a disturbance from his land. If client have credit and his name is changed in PAN card, then fund payout will be released by broker in client bank. But what you do today also, I don't understand. Why you want to wait for the first Friday? Today, as the client asks payout, what do you do? Same thing you have to do on that day. So the question was, the client has credit and his name is changed in PAN card, then fund payout will be
that's what in this is, as you rightly said.
Yeah.
They don't need to wait till first Friday.
But today, if the client is asking payout, you will be doing something, right? So same thing you will do on that day.
He has to get the bank details updated and post which they have to make the payment.
So there is a interesting question. The client has placed an order in commodity and is not getting executed till the time he does the settlement. Put a limit order which may get settled around 9:30, 10. The order may get executed. So how do you handle that? Should we cancel the order and do the payout?
Client is in commodity segment, placed the order, did not execute.
Yeah, he's kept some limit order which is not executed, may get executed till 12 o'clock. Oh, the margin is blocked to that extent.
The payout with respect to payout, in the sense, unsettled trades cannot be considered. They have to.
So they have to cancel the order.
In such a way that order should be cancelled and payout has to be.
Okay.
ANMI Webinar.
So Sai has said that fresh money received on the settlement day not required to settle. Why only same day? It should be allowed at least for last 3 days receipt. Is there any concession here, Sai?
This is for the fresh money received with respect to on settled October. If there is any amount received before payment, I said for that amount you can consider. I am not any client who have transferred you funds on 7th of October. You can client who is not trading, not at all trading. He is not an active client for last 30 days and he had transferred funds on 7th.
At least 1 month active clients of MCX. At least 1 month active clients of MCX should be allowed to settle on next day. If a client has been enrolled in last quarter, you do not settle. But a client who is active in last 1 month, he should be allowed to settle on next day. That is what they are asking.
And who has
No, someone has asked at least 1 month active clients of MCX should be allowed to settle on next day. Sai, can you hear us?
No, I think he's gone offline again.
Yeah. Marking payout on Friday in back
With
office
respect to net
ledger.
worth.
Marking payout on Friday in back office ledger and of all kinds. We are uploading the file to bank on Saturday. I believe the file has to be uploaded on Friday, cannot be uploaded on Saturday. That has been clarified in the beginning. It will not be considered as payout if you upload on next day. If client margin is less than
Yes.
pledged shares, can we still retain 50% cash without unpledged shares?
No, we are not saying that you are supposed to unpledge. We are saying you are supposed to hold maximum to 50% of the margin obligation, and rest you have to release it to the client.
To unpledge the shares given by client as collateral or only unrepledged will suffice. I believe you have to do end to end. If you want to unpledge the client with
Total pledge. It has to
total
be
pledge you
total
have to
pledge.
remove. It has to be free in your demat account, either with DTPI or POA. So on question, 1 month active clients of MCX should be allowed to settle on next day. I believe only clients who are there in the last quarter you need not settle, but an active client needs to be settled on the 7th of October, right?
Yes. Any client who has been created in the current quarter are not supposed to be settled, but any client who has created prior to last 1 quarter and is an active client in this current quarter has to be settled on 7th of October. No change with respect to inactive client settlement. There is no change with respect to process of settlement. The only methodology with respect to 50-50 ratio to be held back in case of cash margin has been prescribed, and up to the extent of 50% of cash of EOD margins, which is 100% ka 50% you can hold, and the balance 50%, if you are having securities as pledge, need to be adjusted. Okay, let's say 100 rupees is the margin, 225% is the total margin you can withhold, out of which 50 you can have it from cash, 175 you have to have it from the repledged stock. If you don't have 175 worth of repledged stock, the balance amount can be held from the cash balances.
In all you can hold 225, which includes 50% cash, 50% of cash margin.
50% is not of 225%. 50% is of
no. 50% is of the margin amount.
Margin amount, which is 100
Yeah.
50%. 50
Correct. And the balance, if stocks are available, then stocks first. If they are not available, then in case cash is available, you can hold it up
cash
to that.
cash can be held, right?
Yeah.
There's a question, Sai, outstanding paying obligations. Should we consider gross purchases or net of sales?
It has to be net of value.
So, sir, is this paying is settlement wise? Suppose on Monday there are 4 settlements. One is T+1, one is the normal +1, and
it is settlement wise net of values. If for any
Okay.
particular settlement you have a pay-in obligation, then you can hold that particular settlement obligation.
Okay.
It has to be on settlement basis, not in the sense अभी दो settlement है T+1, T-1 and TDA का settlement से दोनों को net off नहीं करना है. Settlement wise you can have that balance.
Okay, even if you are having a credit in one of the settlement, payout,
So that is a future
it
coming
need not
credit.
be adjusted.
No, that's a future coming credit need not be adjusted.
Okay, only the future debits, coming debits can be withheld.
Can be withheld, yes.
Yeah.
So let's take a practical example. I buy 100 SBI and 100 Tisco on Friday,
Yeah.
and I sell 100 Apollo tires. So should I consider only
On Friday itself, in the, let's say there are two settlements. One is on Thursday trade and another is on Friday's trade.
Yes.
If you are doing something, purchasing on Thursday and selling it on Friday, no need of settling, adjusting the net of values. If you are purchasing on Friday and selling it on Friday itself, then only the net of value has to be considered.
The net
Take a
pain for
practical
that
example.
settlement can be withheld. Now, Nirav, only the net
Take
pain
a-
of that settlement can be withheld.
Now, people are asking for a practical example. Suppose on Thursday I buy 100 of Reliance and Friday I sell 100 Reliance and buy 100 of Tisco. So what is the value of the purchases and sales which
I'll give you with an example. Let's say on Friday you have purchased Reliance of 1 lakh rupees.
So let's start on Thursday.
Thursday. Sorry, I'll give you an example. Thursday you have purchased Reliance of 1 lakh rupees, and on Friday you have sold Reliance 1 lakh and purchased TCS 1 lakh. Right?
Okay.
There is no net of obligation on Friday, but on Thursday you had an obligation, paying obligation of 1 lakh, which can be adjusted against the payout.
Correct. But Sai, suppose a client buys 10 lakh suppose the client trades in BE, the trade for trade segment on Friday, he buys 10 lakhs and he sells 10 lakhs.
Okay.
Now his net paying obligation for that trade of that trade for trade settlement is 0, but the pay-in and payout are done separately in trade for trade. So
Right.
firstly we have to, so the entire pay-in position can be withheld.
No. With respect to settlement and settlement obligation at the CC level for that particular client, there is nothing which has to be given to the CC from that particular client perspective.
No.
It
does not happen like that. Suppose in a trade for trade, all the debits are debited first and all the credits are credited later.
Yes, I follow that. I follow that. Gross
taken.
settlement happens in trade to trade segment.
Yes,
Gross
sir.
settlement happens at the transaction level, whether it is buy or sell.
Absolutely.
If client has purchased and sold on the same settlement date, he has given the early paying of that particular stock. He has done an intraday. Then the purchase and sale transactions both happens on the same day. But paying happens at 9:30, payout happens at 11:30.
Correct.
Right. So for this, the settlement, we cannot hold that particular value as an settlement value at the time of running account settlement.
So we have to do the paying from our own pocket on Tuesday.
That is the working capital. That is the working capital which trading member has to adhere to.
We just wanted to clarify.
To give a clarity, we cannot hold. We cannot hold that value as an paying obligation.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, this is just to clarify once again. Someone had asked whether you need to unpledge or you need to just unrepledge. So the answer, maybe you may have missed out. You have to totally release the entire thing, not only release the unrepledge. You have to release the pledge also. So all the legs from CC to CM to client has to be unpledged. So just clarifying, because someone had put to reframe the question again. Okay, if client check comes on Thursday and is not cleared by Friday, then do we have to settle this client?
No, in the sense, as we clearly specified, any funds which are clearly available with the trading member are only to be settled.
Okay. So guys, we have 5 minutes more. Any more questions before we wrap this up? Sum and substance size that whatever you have been doing for last so many months or years, same thing you have to do on the first Friday, except that you can retain 50% of the margin as cash with the CC, right?
Right.
And to upload the file on Friday to the bank.
Bank file upload has to be done to the bank.
CC has assured they will release the money by 7. I mean, they will have a cutoff time by 7 to take the request for release. And for online FD, they will release it by 8.
Right.
So I request all to, carry this out, see what, this is a sort of a match practice. We will have to see how it goes.
Nirav, I've prepared some small steps which members can follow to do it efficiently. If you permit me, I can just
Yeah,
forward
please,
it in 2 minutes.
please. आपका वीडियो बंद कर दिए राजीव भाई, वो because of a lot of
Okay.
bandwidth is getting consumed.
Yeah.
You can,
Okay.
you can say,
Yeah. So I would recommend that firstly you should aim to put in the bank transaction file latest by 7 p.m. and it can be done if you do it in a proper way. Firstly, assess the collaterals lying with CC. If inordinately high amount of shares are lying with the CC, it is always best to unpledge them a majority part so that a reasonable amount of shares are left with CC as pledge, which even NSE has recommended so many times that we should not keep inordinately high amount of pledge shares. So firstly, identify the clients having hugely high value of shares pledged which are not being used, just unpledge them, make them free. If any FD needs to be released, release it 1 day in advance. Do a pre-encashment so that cash is available on Friday. You won't be able to encash your FDs on Friday and bring it into cash. The better way is do it on a Tuesday and Thursday and do it slowly. Then, why for calculating? You cannot wait for the MG13 file for CM segment. You have to work it on your own the way we are doing allocation files, margin requirement. So the best way would be, say, FO margin can be taken at 4 p.m. CDX margin files are available at 5 p.m. with on ANMI. Collateral details are available with CC and your back office. PS03 files are available at 6 p.m. Trade files are available by 6 p.m. So these are the only things that you actually require to do the settlement process. Once you have processed everything, you will have your net credits available with you. Out of that, reduce all the future paying in all segments. Then you will be having a sum of net credits available. Out of these net credit available, retain 50% cash margin, which is allowed. Then in order to retain balance 175%, first look at the pledge stocks. In case they are more than 175, then release whatever is the balance cash you have. In case the value of stocks is less than 175 balance, then you can retain up to 175 more up to reach from your cash balance that is there. Any excess securities of after doing the settlement need not be released. So the steps would be take available credits, net of future paying, take margin from ANMI file, reduce margin by 5% so that the error at day end file and 4 o'clock file can go off. Calculate margin in CM segment as being done for allocation. Now retain only 220%. Don't try to retain 225. Otherwise, you could just keep some 5% as margin of error. Now return cash after returning 50% cash. Do bank transfers by 7 p.m. You can do final billing after all MG13 files are received, maybe on Saturday morning. Prepare settlement letters on Saturday morning. In any case, you have 5 days to send the settlement letters. And in case everything has been done properly, then all accounts will appear settled on Saturday morning and you won't have to do anything more. You can also try this exercise one day in advance to assess your fund requirement. Don't try to retain 225% as final margins can vary a little. That would be my suggestion. Anything more to add, Saiji?
Yes, sir, you rightly said in the sense as reducing the 225 to 220 will definitely have an impact onto that. And added to that, with respect to sending the retention statement, we have time till 5 working days from the date of settlement.
Correct. So
there is one more query which has come for MCX. It has been answered earlier. Once you have to pay out, even if you have a pending order, you have to cancel it and pay it out. Whatever is your clear balance, you have to use that and pay out to the customer. There's one more question. Can holding company settle on behalf of subsidiaries company's payment obligation in case funds are required by subsidiary from holding company?
It cannot be done, right? In the sense, it is the only company which
I
has
understand, Sai, but since the question is there, I put
we cannot do.
So one more query has come. The allocation is done as per the ledger balance, and there is timeline of 8 p.m. for allocation. The funds will be released after that, after the cash margin file is received. So there will be a 100% guarantee the allocation file will go wrong.
Deallocation will be deallocation file upload karna padega na, in the sense, in this case, for release of funds.
But that will be by 7 p.m., right?
No, you can upload in the sense, if you are taking funds out of the CC, then you can upload deallocation file and get the funds out of CC.
Nirav,
so that they will do.
You don't need to allocate what all is available in the credit balance. You have to allocate only what is required to be allocated considering the position of the client. Suppose the client is having 1 lakh rupee credit balance and he has only 5,000 rupees margin. You can't go around allocating 1 lakh rupees. You just have to allocate 1,000 rupees for covering 5,000 margin, and 99,000 is free in any case. And you have to, and if the margin is say 5,000 rupees, you can always retain all the pay-in requirement plus 12,500 rupees as 225% and pay out the bank. Where is the
One more question, but I didn't understand. Intraday is not possible in T2T. So you check demat statement, there will be one debit entry of share debit, and after 2 days there will be entry of shares credit. Yes, but I did not understand what impact. I mean, how it is related to.
No, he was referring to the paying obligations in demat accounts, but end of the day, it is the trading member who has to have his working capital intact, where he has allowed client to do intraday in trade to trade stocks. So as of now, for holding the paying obligations, they cannot hold for trade to trade stock.
Okay, so it was in that context.
Do we have any more questions?
I don't think so, Sai. Thank you, Sai, for enlightening us with more FAQs than what the exchange has given.
Right.
A live session, so people could answer, people could get their queries resolved. So I believe it's the first time which you are doing. Everyone will have its own challenges. There will be partial success, partial failure. But anyway, we'll have to go through it and understand how to prepare ourselves for the next January session.
Based on the experience what we will be having based on this particular one-day settlement, we will enhance our make the required changes in the next set of cycle. So this is a learning curve for us. So let's have this with an intent of settling client funds on a single particular day. And whatever issues or teething problems which we'll be facing, let's have it returned back to CCs and exchanges so that we can have the solutions for that in the next settlement cycle.
They also said the CROs of all the exchanges will be available late on Friday.
Yeah, everyone will be available in the sense, including the team members of the exchange and clearing corporations will be working on Friday and Saturday. So anything which you want to have a clarification, you can anytime reach us. Yes.
For any issues, they will be there.
On Saturdays also, we are working on this. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We end the session.
Thank you, everyone.
If there are any questions, you can reach out to ANMI's office and they will in turn forward it to NSE if any questions are not answered here. I mean, if the same question is being asked again, you can view the YouTube video and get your queries answered. If there is something different than what we have answered here, maybe we will take it to NSE for further clarification.
Sure.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.